Hey y'all, Nick is back out here on a John Deere push mower that I recently picked up, and I wasn't going to continue on with this thing right now. Just really wanted to get it running so I can start using it this summer. So I knew it was some cosmetic stuff I had to fix on this thing, but I wasn't going to worry about it too much as long as I can get it running and driving and using it, and then I'll break this thing down and work on it this winter. So originally I thought this was the only piece of damage on this deck here that I could patch up and fix. But y'all, man, look what else I got going on. Man, daggone. Went to pull off this drive cover that kind of hides all the belt system for this rear wheel drive setup. Pull this cover off, y'all. Look at this, bruh. Man, talking about a rust hole. Now look at this. That's not the worst part. Well, it's probably the worst part of the rust, but the worst part is this pulley system that helps the drive system. Look what it sits on. Right on the last piece of rust it's holding on to. I ain't gonna be able to do nothing with this thing like this. This thing is literally sitting on a piece of rusted out part of the hole. And this is a major pivot point for this belt system, this drive system. This thing can break any minute. So man, I'm gonna have to end up, to fix this, I'm gonna have to pull this motor off and go underneath and go fix this thing up. So yeah, what I thought would be a quick little fix and I could start using this thing, no, it ain't gonna work out that way. So I don't know, man, I might get more involved in this thing than I really wanted to, but I should have checked that. I thought the cover would be hard to pull off, but it wasn't even a fix done nothing. All I had to do was lift it up and see that. Great. So yeah, I gotta get this part fixed because this thing has gotta be on a solid piece of metal to be able to hold, because you can see there's a lot of pressure it puts on that belt for the drive system once you engage it. But once you engage that belt, it tightens up on this motor system here on the pulley, and this pulley turns, well, a lot faster than I can turn it. But once you engage this thing here, you can see this arm here engages the gears inside this pulley system. And once you turn it, you can see the wheels will turn. I can't turn it fast enough, but you can see the wheels turning as I turn that pulley there on this gear system, this drive system. So that's the idea behind it. But none of this will work unless this pivots and puts tension on that belt, which is literally hanging by a thread of rust underneath. So yeah, that's what Nick's working with. All right, I drained the gas and oil out of this thing and flipped it on the side to get a better look at what's going on. And man, look at the size of that rust hole. And this right here is where this pulley sits. And this is actually a bolt that holds this pulley on that went through. So I'm gonna have to fabricate a piece of sheet metal back over this to patch this hole. And it can't be a thin piece of sheet metal that, you know, I kind of normally use, because this bolt has to go through it, and I need some good support to put this bolt back on to hold this pulley. So it can't be the thin sheet metal, it's got to be a little bit thicker. And I'm going to have to fabricate that piece of sheet metal to kind of fit this curvage of this deck. And Nick ain't got no bender like them fancy guys in them shops have those benders to be able to bend and fabricate to fit that. So I'm gonna have to use the old school vise and ball peen hammer and tap that thing into shape to fit it, run that bolt through there and re-secure this pulley system. So man, what I thought would be an easy, quick flip fix job on this thing. Nah, man, niggas gotta put in work. So I'm gonna pull the motor off so I can have more room to work with. Y'all already seen me pull the motor off a deck before. So anyway, that's the next step. But first, y'all, let me show you what the bottom underneath looks like with this daggone hole on this thing. I pulled the blade off. Look at this, man. Dang, this thing done rusted through. See that what happens when you leave stuff outside and you don't keep it clean? It just becomes a rust bucket. And it'll just keep going and going and keep eating out until the whole thing is just destroyed. Because rust don't stop. It just keeps eating through it. So I'm gonna patch these two sections up because you know Nick loves to do it. He loves this kind of work. It ain't fun, but I love repair stuff, so I'm gonna get to it. Hold on. All right, I got the motor pulled off this thing, and y'all look. Now look how you can get a good look at the rust in the bottom of this thing. So, cheap ain't always good. Sometimes you get what you pay for, and that's what happened this time. But I'm gonna fix it to where we can get it running again and working like it's supposed to. Good thing is we got a good motor, at least, out of the deal. So if this frame doesn't work out, we can at least save that motor and find us something else and mount that motor on it and get it going. So it's not a total loss, but I did not expect to put this much work in this thing. It happens sometimes, so gotta get it done. Here we go, y'all. Got these rust holes cut out. Now I got a surface I can work with here when I get ready to put some sheet metal back in here. This is in the open hole, the discharge side here. And I had to cut that rust spot out there, but this is still plenty of strong here. So I'm not worried about cutting this area right here because it's still strong. It's on a strong part of the frame. So all I gotta do is put me a piece of sheet metal there, rivet that bad boy in, back on track. Same with this side, everything is strong here in the bend of the metal. So yeah, no worries there. I just gotta get some sheet metal started on it and get this rest of this rust here sanded off, painted in, you know how I do, and we'll see what we got from there. Should be straight. All right, got my sheet metal cut out, riveted in, holes are patched up, and you know Nick had to hit it with that paint. Whatever I got in the drawer, that's what I pulled out. It's underneath. You ain't gonna see it. So all I'm trying to do is put some protection back on it, that metal that was all rusted out and falling apart. But yep, I got the patches in. It ain't pretty, but the holes are covered. Of course, the top here, once I get the bottom finished, I'll sand this down, paint this all in green, put the motor back on. Should be looking pretty decent. Won't be no holes no more. And the best part of it is, it'll be functional, hopefully. Once we put everything together, tweak the belts, the cables, we should have hopefully a good run on mower. Hold on. See there, y'all, already looking better. Look at that thing. Looks like one solid piece right now. Got these places filled in. This thing is ready to hold up. Put the motor back on this thing. I'm gonna start using it again. Like I said, I'm ready to use it while it's still warm this summer and just go ahead and use it like it is right now. If I decide to keep it and it works out, then I'll break it all back down this winter. You know, fill all this in, sand it down again, make it pretty, pull everything off and repaint it, put some new wheels on it and hold on to this thing. but I'm gonna use it as is for right now and then go from there. This little pulley system lives back here where that circle is. I'm gonna cut that out with the sheet metal. Get me this flat washer, put on the bottom of it. That's gonna be holding tight. Put the belts back on it and let this thing roll for now. So that'll be it. I take these little decals off. When I painted it, yeah, man, I'm gonna make this thing a functional machine for cheap. That's how Nick rolls. All right, y'all, I got the pulley action back up here, and I got it going through this sheet metal that I installed there. So I had to put a washer on both sides of that to give it some extra support, but it'll do just fine. But I realized you can't find anything online really to show you how to reroute or put this belt routing back on once you have this thing off. So if you're looking at the back of the mower and you got the transmission right here on the back, you're gonna start from the transmission, go to the right side of that pulley, curve in, go to the inside, then back around to where the motor pulley is. And once it goes around the motor pulley, comes back out on the inside of this screw here, or a belt guide, is what it's acting as, then back around this pulley on the transmission. So then you'll come over here and then hook your tensioner here for the top, and these are to give you more or less tension. So if you're at the bottom of the pulley towards the transmission, this is less tension, and as you go to the top, you'll have more tension, pulling action on this pulley. So this will be tight here around the bottom of the engine, and that pulley will, or that tensioner will pull on this pulley and give you more tension, making this belt, making the mower go faster. So this is on this JS40 walk behind John Deere. I think it's for the JS35 too, with this setup. So that way you'll know exactly how to put this thing back on, put it back together like I'm getting ready to do, and do a test run. So I'm gonna put this tensioner back on, put the engine back on, hook it up, and see if this thing will work. Hold on. Nick out here still making it happen. Got the motor back mounted on the frame. Belt routing is good. Pulley action is working good. You see that? Look at that spring tension now on that thing. Before we dived into this thing, man, I'm telling you, these pulleys were hanging literally by a thread. It was so rusted. But we got the new sheet metal on. Now look at that action now. See the difference? That thing's ready to go. So motor's back mounted, and look underneath. Got that thing painted underneath, looking good. I've got the belt guard back on. I've got the keepers back on. So in case you have one of these and you're trying to figure out how all this mess went back together, the keepers should look something like this. You know, just close enough to that pulley to keep that belt in line there. And you should be good to go. These bolts were rusted, so I had to use my own bolts. I had to cut them off to get those things even off this thing. But yeah, it's coming together nicely, y'all. About to finish putting this thing back together and see how she'll roll. Hold on. All right, guys, all right. I got everything back together on this little John Deere JS40 self-propelled mower. Sheet metal is all in place. I repainted the sheet metal pieces. So hopefully we're gonna stop that rusting effect. Belt's in place. I put the cover back on it, put the side chute cover back on. So I'm going to, I think the self-propel is working okay. So we're gonna start it up and let you see that it is starting and rolling on its own power. Hold on. Shoot. Prime this thing up a little bit. Remember we were having problems with this little bell brake. Look at that thing working now though. Look at that thing pulling on its own power. Working again, y'all. So, there's one thing that old Nick did notice, and I don't know if you guys noticed, as I was driving this thing. Take a look at these back wheels. I'm gonna lift it off the ground, and you look at the back wheels. Tell me what you see. You see that little wobble on them back wheels? Yeah. So the gears are pretty much, that one's not bad, but on this side, you got some bad bushing and gear wear on that side. So the previous owner was probably just using it, you know, and as long as it was going, he was using it, right? So, and that's fine, but in the meantime, we got some pretty good wear on the gears on it. So even though the transmission gear is all metal, the wheels that the metal makes contact with to turn these wheels are made of plastic. Yeah, exactly. So you got metal gear turning a plastic wheel with gears in it. So y'all, I checked for a set of tires or new plastic wheels for this thing. Dude, the cheapest I could find them, the cheapest price I could find was 80 bucks for a set of wheels. So that's how it goes when you buy these used pieces of equipment that people have used and worn out, and you want to decide if you want to try to flip it or keep it. But once you get into it for a while and you start finding parts that are worn and stuff and how much they cost to replace it, yeah, it could end up being a money pit. So like I said, I'm gonna keep it because I think I can use it and it'll be a good piece of equipment. The engine's running good on it. And I'm just gonna order a new set of wheels for it and keep using it. But y'all, it's a working piece of machine again. So I'll finish eventually going forward with this thing, but for now I'm going to use it during the summer months, and probably later this fall and stuff I'll revisit it and break it back down, finish sanding it down and paint it and make it look good again. But like I said, for now I did order a new set of wheels because these wheels are just worn slap out, and it's not going to track very good with those wheels worn like they are. See it? See the slop in that? So it is what it is, y'all. But they got another one going, another functional machine. So stay tuned for more projects coming. It's gonna be a long summer. We're gonna have a good time. Nick out.